Cal, while you're here,
Yes,
since I haven't seen you at all today, um,
yes.
did you see the post on Discord? Are you able to record any of the Game of the Year podcasts on a Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday evening?
I'm looking now.
Just so, does anyone know if that's the reason why Peace can't come on the other days? Is it because he's not free on Thursdays?
I cannot confirm nor deny.
How mysterious!
I don't know his schedule. I don't know why he said he can't make it.
The other days are fine.
Great.
Either way, can work around it.
Yeah, essentially, if either Dom and I do Peace have a free day, we can shift around so we can include them. I don't want to end up with one of the Game of the Year parts being like four of us. Considering we had, what, 8 last year? Although that was recorded over, one session, so.
A shit of alcohol as well. It was good.
Right, I suppose we should crack on. Has everyone got a subject in 2017 that they want to talk about?
Not really.
I forgot to think of one.
This is a horrible year for me regarding games, like both for the game of the year and anything relating to gaming. I just can't think.
I thought you were just going to go into this was a horrible year.
No, it's like, I just can't think of like anything to go. Oh, this was really, really, really good. I can't go.
I'm sure we'll think of stuff as it comes along. If not, then we'll just have a lovely awkward last 15 minutes, and then we can talk about Game of the Year.
I can just rant about something.
Yeah, we'll just someone say something historically inaccurate, and we'll just all leave the room.
I'll do that.
Right. Are you going to use OBS, Shadow, or?
I've already been transmitting for the past 2
Oh.
minutes.
Wow.
Oh, it's a streaming. Oh, we're streaming. I forgot about that.
It's not even the streamcast, just because it's the last regular podcast. Shadow wanted to stream it.
Should
Bless.
I change the titles on things?
Might be a good idea. What are we technically playing right now, Ace?
Star Traders Frontiers.
Ooh.
Star Traders flying through the frontier.
Oh, Star Trader. Are you liking the game?
I've never played it.
Oh, okay, because it's anyway. Sorry.
You sound incredibly disappointed.
He really was hoping for a friend.
It was.
Nah, the game is kind of like, I went to it with like very high hopes, and it just like crashed and burned like very, very severely. So that was, I added a little list of the active streamers to the stream thing. So now we have like, I thought it would be like a nice little idea. So now, if someone actually watches the thing, they can see all the people who are on. Those things are completely unrelated, but yeah.
Lovely silent.
It's
Well, next year, we're thinking of changing the streamcast to a volunteer playing a game while everyone else talks. So we can talk about general things, but then also mock them for how bad they are at video games.
we should do like each take turns. We'll pick a game, and then we could like decide. And I tell you what, we can actually do a multiplayer game. Why don't we just get a multiplayer game? Be easier.
Could do that.
But because one of it, we could play like I don't know, Gang Beasts or something.
Oh God!
But one of us would be sort of the monitor of the game, i.e., you, Alex. You would be talking and telling about the news while we're trying to focus and beat the shit out of each other, and we've also got to answer and give our comments up on the news.
I mean, alternatively, the streamcast could just be a streamcast where we just play video games and have a laugh.
Yeah.
Instead. Right.
I like my idea.
Okay. A bit of both then. Well, let's start so that we're not running into everyone's bedtimes. It's Thursday of November, and you're listening to the GrinCast. I'm your host, Hamiltonius, and joining me this evening are Ace.
Hello.
Cal.
Good evening.
Cello.
Ciao.
And Catty.
Hello.
This is, I hope you've got your tissues at the ready, listener, because this is the last regular podcast of the year. All of December will be dedicated to the new 3-part Game of the Year special, which we're all very excited for. Lots of arguments to be had, lots of games to be showered with praise, and some games to be showered with something else. But before we get to that, we've got to get through one last podcast, so you can make it. We made it, you can make it too. As per usual, we'll begin off with games we've been playing, and then some news, and then we're going to be talking about or our favourite moments in 2017 in the gaming industry. Everyone's come very well prepared, so look forward to that. But first, we'll talk about the games we've been playing this week, games we've been reviewing for Game Group and As Is. I think I'll kick off, actually. So I've been... Well, my latest review, or two, in fact, are going into circulation. One is for the game King Oddball by 10 Tons, a developer who also did the game Spellspire, which is a review that is live on the site right now. It's essentially a game a lot like Crush the Castle and Angry Birds. It's just a physics-based puzzler where you throw objects at structures and hope that they come tumbling down. Like a lot of mobile-style games, it was released on Xbox One and PS4 earlier this year and has been ported over to the Switch. It's a fairly good time. For every 10 to 15 minutes. There's 120 levels of it, so it's fairly robust. Honestly, there's not really much else to say about it. You play King Oddball, like this guy who it looks. At first, when I first saw it, I thought he was the moon, but he's just a floating head in the sky with a long purple tongue who wants to get everyone. Probably. I did wonder why why the moon had a crown and also was like an orc, but yeah, that is about as complex and as simple as it gets. Which is fine. It doesn't over-promise, and it doesn't really under-deliver, so it does its job. And another review that's currently going up, will be going up, is Mario Odyssey, which I am about 2/3 of the way through now on the Switch. Loving every second of it, despite only having ever played Mario, the reboot of Mario 64 on the DS, and maybe the original Super Mario Brothers. So my credentials as a Nintendo fanboy are zilch, but absolutely loving every moment of playing Mario Odyssey at the moment.
Wait, hold on. You've never played a Mario game, and you've not even finished this one. What even qualifies you to write this review, Alex?
An impartial, objective person.
Nintendo shill, got it.
Yeah, that's it. I finished the 64 on the DS, so there'll be 64 on the DS.
It's not like he's never heard Mario.
Yeah, that's true. It's not like I go in going like, who is this guy?
And he's obviously
you mean
played
Red-
Mario Kart.
You mean Red Luigi?
I mean, to be fair, Luigi is the superior brother.
Do you mean plumbers, mate?
You mean Reverse Wario?
Anyone got any more? No, I thought not. Yeah, so that's great.
Bob Hoskins.
There you go, well done. Good. Yeah, that's about it for me. As well as playing lots of games here and there, a little bit of Overwatch, a little bit of Football Manager, a little bit of Stellaris, actually. I kicked off on Stellaris, one of those games, great Paradox-style games where you go, I haven't played that in a while, I'll play that for about 15 minutes, and then about 7 hours later you emerge from the hell that has been your last you're like coated in blankets, and you've got an empty bottle of wine because you're despairing at how badly your Iron Man campaign is going. But yeah, that's been about it for me. This let's ask Cal. What have you been fiddling with this week and also playing.
Okay. Well, to be honest with you, I've been really busy with work, so I've not actually had the chance to put any reviews.
Oh, look at him, eh? Got a job.
Yeah. Yeah. And so during my free time, I've just been playing the odds games, steadily getting through Wolfenstein. I've got Wolfenstein 2 now. Just got to an awesome part, and I'm not going to spoil it, but it's like, wow. They did a good job on that. And a bit in Titanfall 2 in between, I suppose. It's about it, really. Yeah, nothing exciting. Although I must admit, I did your review earlier, Alex, of Super Mario Odyssey, and I was thinking, you know what, because I kind of do want to play it. It's been such a long time since I've played Mario. So even said not even, I've played Mario Sunshine, so I have played more than you. I'm a bit spoiled because I'm playing Breath of the Wild on Cemu, but I would happily pick it up when the price comes down, because at the moment it's like 50, 60 quid a game on the digital store and even in the shops. Like, nah. Like, even if I wanted Skyrim, 50 quid? No, I'll wait.
Wait until it comes out on mobile.
Yeah.
Or calculator.
Probably the Nvidia Shield next, no doubt.
Well, in that case, Cello, what have you been playing this week?
Sorry, I got ice cream.
Are you eating? You're never eating.
What's it this time?
Is it pizza?
Do you eat at any other time than the podcast?
This is actually dessert. I have ice cream. Cookie dough, Ben & Jerry's ice cream.
Oh.
Sorry.
Where's ours?
Actually, this is a very weird ice cream. It has like vanilla ice cream, with chocolaty cookie swirl, chocolaty cookie sandwiches, and cookie dough chunks, all in one single thing.
Welcome to the Game Grin Ice Cream Cast.
I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have diabetes.
What ice cream have you been eating this week?
I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have like diabetes in this, but it's okay. Yeah. This week's been a little bit busy. I've been playing the for Game Green. I've been playing a game called Outcast, the remastered version that came out a couple of weeks ago, which is a game that originally came out like 18 years ago, which is like you are a guy like wearing a orange shirt, and it's a sci-fi game that's like a huge open world and was like a very big hit back in the day, but it pretty much was forgotten over time. But Outcast, along with TIE Fighter, is actually the reason why I got into PC gaming in the first place. Like the three games that actually got me into the PC game, the first three games I played in my life and that actually made me go were Outcast, TIE Fighter, and Green Fandango. And those three games kind of cemented me as a PC player, and I never looked back. And I got the Outcast Second Contact now for review, which is the remastered version. So they updated all the graphics, all the animations, all the gameplay and all that, but they try to keep the feeling of the original, so you still have the same voice actors, the same original lines and stuff, which is pretty noticeable because the voice is like clearly recorded 18 years ago, so the quality is a little bit different when compared to the rest of the game. And so far it's, well, I don't want to make any judgments yet, so it's enjoyable. I'm trying to look at it from a more impartial view, so I'm not looking at it and going like, oh my god, I love this game, this is so good, and trying to not let the nostalgia affect me and actually look at it like from a critical point of view, so it's a little bit balanced. Besides that, I've been playing the new expansion for Rome Total War, which comes out today, at the time of recording, and also finished Arkham Asylum yesterday, so I'm probably gonna start Arkham City sometime this weekend if I'm home. And I guess, and I've been playing the same game that I think Andrew was reviewing, which is Star Trader something, which is a very, very bad game. I'm not enjoying it at all, but that's life. And
Star Trader across the frontier.
Is that an actual song?
It's a knock on Star Trekking.
Okay, fair enough. I've been watching Star Trek Enterprise on Netflix, and I love that shit. Anyway, that's me for the week.
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Ace!
What?
Goose.
you didn't do it. What have you been playing?
For Game Grid, I've been previewing a game that's in Kickstarter at the moment. Is Nimbatus, the Space Drone Constructor. You have to travel around the galaxy to different worlds and complete objectives. At the moment, of course, since it's in Kickstarter, it's an alpha. So the objectives are destroy the transmitter and destroy the hives, and that's about it. You have a selection of weapons. The hives spit out drones of their own, so you have to build a drone using parts such as shields and weapons of varying types. There's ones that are gimbaled, so they'll shoot anywhere. There's ones that fire forwards, take an immense amount. If you put like 15 of those on your drone, you need a ton of energy equipped as well, and they'll just eat through solid rock, so you can just drill through the middle of these planets. Other than that, I've been playing. I've played the first 10 minutes of Splinter Cell Conviction because I finished Splinter Cell. I finished Splinter Cell Conviction. Sorry. And played the first few minutes of Splinter Cell Blacklist. That's what I meant.
What did you thought of Conviction?
Conviction's very, very fun. I really enjoyed it, except for all of the two female characters. You meet them in a couple of game engine animated cutscenes, and they're just bouncing all over the place. It's very distracting.
I bet it's not.
But you were very focused.
Yes. Concentration. Eyes up there.
I was trying to concentrate, but it's just flying all over the place.
To be fair,
they were not attached.
I played Conviction like 3 times, and I don't remember that happening.
Did you play it on console?
No, it was on PC.
Well, I don't know what to say to that. Other than that, I played Omnibus. You are a bus that's constantly going forwards and picking up speed, and you have to complete various objectives such as break open these tombs, drive a bendy bus to avoid all these cars that are coming to try and crash into you. So you have to keep moving.
Can I just break open tombs?
Yes, just
It seemed like a departure from... That wasn't what I was expecting when you were talking about a game where you're driving a bus. Just sudden tombs looming out in the distance.
Well, you also have to break open it says break open a bank, but it's actually a massive safe. And then you have to go and collect all the money from it.
Blimey.
And then because the police are after you, you have to escape to the moon. It's that sort of thing, sort of game. And I've also been playing A Hat in Time, which I am going to say is definitely my nomination for Game of the Year. Because it's spectacular. It's basically Mario Sunshine with voice acting and without Mo. You play as Hat Girl. That's not her official name. She doesn't have an official name, but she wears a lot of hats, and they give her different abilities, such as you have to wear a cap for sprinting, and a woolly hat to statue, and various things like that. And it really does take a lot of nods from Super Mario Sunshine, and that's one of my favourite platformers ever. So this has become one of my favourite platforms ever.
Is that Gears for Breakfast, one of their first ever game.
That's right. It's developed by Gears for Breakfast and published by Humble Bundle.
Blimey, not bad. I'm just looking at the Steam. There's always a funny Steam review, and the top one on Steam, which is most helpful in the past 30 days, someone has just said, "I no longer desire to die," which is,
It's a very funny game. There's a lot of heart put into it. The soundtrack is fantastic. I was playing a level that takes place on a train earlier today, and tucked away on one of the walls is a drinks menu. It's because the world you're on is bird oriented. One of the recipes. That's it. One of the recipes is lovebirds, which calls for 2 shots of syrup, 1 shot of love and affection, and the heart of your lover. And there's a rooster tail, which is 1 shot of orange juice, 1 shot of tomato juice, and 1 dash of rooster tail. And the flaming giraffe, it just says self-explanatory. It's a very good game. I really am enjoying it.
Is it just on PC or is it on other consoles as well?
It's coming to consoles at some point, I believe. I can't remember when. They did announce it's coming to consoles.
Excellent.
That translation is, I want him on the Switch.
Yeah.
PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. Next week.
Oh. Interesting. I've suddenly become not a big fan of playing platformers on the computer. I think that's mainly because my computer chair is not very comfortable. It's basically a dining chair. So that probably leads into it, whereas if I play on the PS4, I can sit on the sofa.
I am using a PS4 pad to play it, and it's brilliant. I love this game.
I'll have to check it out a bit more before the Game of the Year if it's a serious contender. Okay, Catty, what have you been messing around with this week?
Saving the best till last.
Obviously.
I have been playing some Stardew Valley. Me and my friends got.
Good.
There's a mod on PC that lets you do the multiplayer already. It's really, really buggy. Half the time, the day is night, the night is day. There's this great thing that when the day is completely pitch, then it gets to 6 o'clock and it turns to evening, and then it goes back to nighttime. So it's so you get like an hour daylight. It's brilliant for farming. I've also started playing the Telltale Guardians of the Galaxy game. Started, meaning I played the first episode, and I don't really actually want to go back to it because I forgot how bad they can get. The animation on it is really bad. It's kind of makes me not want to play it, even though I kind of enjoyed the story. Just the acting, as it were, I was struggling with quite badly. That's pretty much it.
Why couldn't you wait for the official multiplayer patch for Stardew Valley?
Because we had people who wanted to play Stardew Valley all at the same time, and this mod don't get me wrong, it does work. Just expect to lose items in chests, and the day-night cycle does not work, and also events don't work properly. But other than that, the game runs fine. It's just stuff you kind of gotta get over. The mod is called Makeshift Multiplayer, though, so they do know that there's bugs. They have no intention of fixing them because they know.
At least they're honest about it.
Well, they know the full multiplayer is coming, so they don't see a point in trying to fix a thing that's get official support in a couple of months. For now, it's perfectly fine, though.
Fantastic. Well, that's the end of the happy part of the podcast because we've got to start talking about EA again.
They're my favourite company.
But
Yeah.
this story made me really happy.
Yeah. Well, thanks to Cathy for finding it on Polygon. Who knows where they found it? They don't source this. So yeah, more problems with the $60 game that EA is trying desperately to monetize and failing miserably. EA CFO Blake Jorgensen has said that has explained why there are no cosmetics in Battlefront 2, and it's mainly because they don't want to mess with the Star Wars canon, which is a funny excuse, really, when you think about it, considering that you can play as Darth Maul versus Rey from the latest Star Wars films, and the Emperor's flying about, Yoda's flying about, but they obviously want to be very, very respectful of the canon. They said there might be things they want to do cosmetically in a statement. Also, this is a great one. Darth Vader in white probably doesn't make sense versus in black. Not to mention, you probably don't want Darth Vader in pink. And then he quickly adds, "No offense to pink, but I don't think that's right in the canon."
So here's where I'm going to say bullshit on that, because if there was a pink Darth Vader that I could easily get in this game, I would have bought that game and have played as pink Darth Vader backwards, because that sounds exactly the kind of thing that I want to do. So
that's the perfect troll thing to do. Be killed by a pink Darth Vader, the pink lightsaber. Yeah, so he says there might be some things they can do cosmetically. They're working with Lucasfilm on it. But they said it's not easy because they're not building it around their own IP. It matters because in Star Wars fans want realism, which is a weird phrase to use. Star Wars fans may also want to do things, a different coloured lightsaber, things like that. So you might things like that. So, I mean, yeah, great, thanks.
Can I just bring something up, which is actually...
Sure.
I was looking into this earlier, and Jim Sterling did a couple of videos on it as well. And he did one quite recently where it shows that people have data mined the game and have proved that they've already had ideas for cosmetic characters.
You're skipping ahead there, Cal.
Am I?
Because that news story on Polygon was posted on November 28th at 4:12 p.m.
Right.
Which was about 5 hours later than other places have posted, but yeah.
Which was about 5 hours, but still. The next day at 1:15, Star Wars Battlefront 2 leak shows character customization options.
There you are.
And the funny thing is, for whatever reason, when I was looking for the links on Polygon, because I knew that they'd done this relatively recently, they were literally the two articles next to each other.
There you are then.
Yeah, those news broke at the same time, and earlier today, actually, there was a little update about that. Somebody managed to further data mine the game, and not only they found a shitload of cosmetics, like they found Han Solo in hot gear, and Princess Leia in hot gear, and Lando Calrissian in the Empire Strikes Back clothing and all that. They actually found new characters that are not in the game, including Captain Phasma and General Grievous.
Wow.
So yeah, and they found like a shitload of variations for all the classes. So assault classes have like 8, 9, 10 different skins for them, going all the way from like different human faces for Alderaanian rebel soldiers to different actual races and species like Twi'leks and Quarians and Rhodians and all that. But playing a little bit of EA's advocate, those things are not like what the guy said was completely stupid, but they are not necessarily related, because like what he was saying was basically we don't have customization in microtransactions because that would affect the canon. He basically just balled everything together because the talk was about microtransactions. And the game the game launched with options for Rey and Kylo Ren. If you pre-order the game, you can actually choose between different clothing for Rey and Kylo Ren already. So it's not that the game is averse to that, but he basically just half-arsed an excuse, and everybody looked at that and said, "Man, like you're really out of line here." But I guess the whole point is he tried to play the thing as if we are not going to charge people for content that may break the canon, when they actually are going to charge for content that will not break the canon. So stuff
Well,
like yeah.
they don't seem to have a problem with charging people for things that break the game. So
Exactly. So basically, if you want a pink Darth Vader, they can't charge you for that. But if you want a Darth Vader with like a damaged arm, then yes, they can charge you for that.
the thing I don't understand
EA,
in this. The thing I don't understand in this is they said, "Oh yeah, we can't do this because we're violating canon, and we've already got the things in this game that violate canon." But there were already cosmetics in the last game, the one they released only 2 years ago, that were skins for characters that effectively violated the canon. If you're gonna call cosmetics violating canon, I said that term far too many times in that sentence.
And I don't think like canon is really something you have to worry about. Like the Battlefront 2 itself already has like 7 different skins for the clone troopers. Because the clone troopers have like 1,000 different legions. You have the 501st, which is Darth Vader's, and then you have like other ones that all appear in like the third movie. You have like 6 or 7 different legions that appear in the movie during like the whole movie and the Order 66 montage. So you have a precedent within the universe to have characters with different clothing and all that. So it just stinks badly because it is not an excuse that works in any level. It's not a canon problem, it's not a money problem, it's not a gameplay problem because the thing is already in the game. So everything the guy said is just bullshit. That's the problem with it.
Well, when have EA ever been found out for bullshitting?
At the moment, EA are Peter Molyneuxing to the nth degree. Literally everything they've said makes no sense and turns out to just be basically a complete lie. Like when they talked to their when they turned off the microtransactions as Disney told them to, they went to their shareholders and said it's not going to affect the profits. Then a week earlier they were saying, "Oh yeah, if we don't microtransactions, we're not making money." And then their stock drops like $2 billion or something in the last week.
See, I reckon it's right when they killed off Visceral Games. The soul of Visceral went through and talked to all the other companies that also got killed off by EA, and they all gathered together to repent and go back to EA and curse them, say we're gonna fuck you up. And it's working.
There's an Ouija board somewhere in California, cursing.
The problem is whether it's working well enough or not. I mean, people have been celebrating that EA have taken a hit to their stock and things like that, but
it's the marker from Dead Space doing it.
I was saying to Cal earlier today that they've taken a hit on their stock, but they've taken a hit on stock that's already at a record high, and it's a blip that they'll get over very, very quickly because they have other channels of revenue.
One of which FIFA.
Yeah, one of which is FIFA. The other of which is the UFC series, which someone has on Astute Gaming, which is, I believe, a little blog. A guy called Brad Norton went and played UFC 3 in a preview thing for EA, and the UFC games have a similar sort of system to FIFA Ultimate Team, which I explained in the last podcast, where you can but you can get in-game currency to purchase fighters for your roster that you take online to fight other players, and then you can buy it's not contracts like in Ultimate Team, it's actually attribute upgrades and different move sets. So it wasn't too bad in UFC 2, but apparently in UFC 3, people can straight up buy their way to the best moves and buy their way to basically creating an unbeatable custom fighter on day one of the game without even like completing any major bits of the single player, and it's not even like a what's the word? Oh, a sense of pride and accomplishment. It's just they could just dump money into it and be the best in the game. And to be honest, I have UFC 2 and I never actually played online, so never really took my fancy. But yeah, it seems that they're continuing theme across their titles. And like we said last week, I don't see them being anytime soon. You think about how much of a cash cow. Maybe they tripped up with Battlefront, but they've still got plenty of other games that have the same kind of methodology that are earning them bank.
Yeah, and to be fair, if anything would come out of it, it would already have happened. Like Disney not pulling the plug on their license. For a myriad of reasons, besides all the legal problems. The game is already out, it is making money, already sold stuff, and from now on it's kind of only going upwards. You can't get any words on that, like people are not going to be able to refund the game after playing for 69 hours. And on Origin you can't even refund the game as far as I know anyway, so it's...
they made it very difficult.
Exactly.
You have to contact their actual team to refund.
Yeah. So basically, it was a nice little shitstorm, and everybody loves to hate EA, and it was a very good Zeta guys that just happened, because it had Star Wars, it had microtransactions, and it had EA, all at the same thing at the same point in time. It was a perfect nexus of bullshit, and that happened. It's dealt with. EA moved on, and Disney kind of slapped them in the hand, but not gonna get anything. But like, there's very little chance the Last Jedi will be affected by Star Wars Battlefront 2 fiasco. So yeah, it's pretty much what I agree with what Alex has been saying. Basically, from now on, EA would just move, because FIFA hasn't been affected at all. They had like that whole petition thing, and people like complaining about the way Ultimate League works and all that, and nothing changed. It's been like over a week already, and absolutely nothing changed. The game still requires...
essentially distracted. They essentially distracted the players with a load of side stuff in the Ultimate Team mode, a load of squad building stuff, which fill in these like fake squads and create your own squads, and then trade them in, and you'll get loads and loads of packs and loads of players. And people got too distracted by that, of the promise of getting loads of packs, to actually, well, I say packs, loot boxes, to actually complain about the game in the end. So yeah.
And you still have to play 13 hours a week.
Yeah.
So yeah, as you said, EA will move on, because like, as long as their bottom line is still positive, they won't really care. They are
EA
too
can
big to be broken.
Yeah, EA basically could drop every game that they make and just make sports titles, and they'll be fine.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have to bother with Battlefield. They don't have to bother with Star Wars or anything like that. They just do it because they can get the license, because of how big they are, and they can deliver it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What a depressing thought. Also, I suppose there's one thing that come out of it is some new legislation on loot boxes and microtransactions. But whether that will be, I mean, we talked about this last week. It'll probably end up being a call on the back of a box of a game saying beware microtransactions. I'm actually shifting this to the front of the news queue. Actually, it wasn't the back, but it sort of ties in. There was a comment piece in Games Industry Doc by the publications editor James Mann about how the net neutrality problem in America could affect the games industry. Essentially saying, hypothetically, that if any of the ISPs in the US, let's say Comcast, should net neutrality be removed, create themselves a nice premium gaming plan that gives people high-speed access to their favourite services like Xbox Live, PSN, Steam, and only serious gamers who want fast download speeds will have to pay those services, and everyone else will have to deal with lag. It's an interesting theory, probably one that, I mean, you think about how many games there are, how much bandwidth and how much data is used by people playing online games. It's a future dystopia that, if I'm not using the phrase too lightly, that you can imagine happening.
Well, it's clearly something that's going to happen, because besides gaming, the other thing that they know people will pay more for is access to porn. So they're going to have that moment where if someone's going to have access and they have to pay more for it, you have to phone up your ISP and say, can I have the access package? So, sorry, sir. Did you want the Edible X package? Yeah. Can you confirm your details, please? And like, they just shout it across the office.
Yeah.
It'll be exactly like that.
Don't you have to do that in the UK now, anyway? Well, after the
mobiles, I think.
Oh yeah.
I think you have
to watch porn.
Yeah, I think O2 or EE do it.
You have to write a
Cal's like, I think who's doing it.
Yeah, a friend of me.
yeah, Charlie, you have to write a special letter to Theresa May and ask permission to be able to watch them.
Yeah. As long as you promise not to run through any fields of wheat.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a real big worry for our friends across the Atlantic, but it does have its impacts in Europe as well. If you think about how many server racks and infrastructure are based in the US, and how many games companies are based in the US as well, and how it affects things like Discord, in fact, which obviously relies on something like net neutrality to keep itself up and running.
Well, surely like people like Discord would move their servers to other countries.
Yeah, I think you would see
Quite
that
expensive,
happening.
though, wouldn't
It would be really expensive, and as a result, a lot of these services like Discord will probably have to say, we'll have to pay for it.
Or the options would be move to a different country, move the service to a different country, or pay extra to their ISPs.
Or alternatively, the service as it is using US servers, but you have to go through the shittiness of lag, but then you can pay their premium service to have access to European servers, which are smooth.
Generally, things like Discord now do have European.
It already does have it, I think.
Other servers, yeah. If you have a voice chat in Discord, you can check to see which server you're on the thing, and I think the Game Grin one is on like EU 287 or something.
It's the same for Steam as well with downloads. When you can go into Steam settings, you choose where your server you connect to. So it's going to be like that. People would switch to European servers, maybe even US people. They'll have to put up the latency, but
I think it has
won't be restricted.
It has wider consequences than the consumer end, though, when you think about it.
Yeah,
it does.
I think
Yeah.
if anything would affect Discord, it would affect the services that they use to maintain the platform. When Discord went down last week, in trouble, that was not because of anything they'd done, it's because of the Google systems they were using. Trouble.
But also,
I think that would be where the connections would happen.
It prioritises, and this is where EA come into it as well. It prioritises the larger corporations in America, anyway. I mean, it's less likely there'll be small companies being able to get themselves heard over companies like EA, or even bigger companies, even the clean companies in air quotes like Valve, or just generally these huge, massive companies that have the monopoly not just on customer retention, but they have the cash ready to pay for this kind of access should they have to.
What could also be included with these manipulative services, Comcast or whatever else could decide that how like games, microtransaction games are like, watch this ad for 30 seconds and get a bonus, or get double XP for half an hour by watching this ad. So they could do something along those lines, because I sort of noticed that when I was at an airport, I was connecting to the free Wi-Fi, and it was like, put your email address in and watch this 2-minute ad, and then you can use the Wi-Fi. So they could be like, hey, do you want an extra 5 megabytes of speed? Watch this Comcast ad. And it's like, you've got 20 megabytes extra of speed, accessing your favorite sites, or something like that.
Hang on, we were talking about servers.
We were
earlier, and a recent episode of Arrow showed that the internet is in one building in Star City.
Well, that's entirely
someone tried to destroy the internet, so they broke into this one building.
But it's a black box in the Tower of London.
The red button on it.
Yeah, and it lights up.
And it hasn't got enough RAM.
Downloaded it.
If it's in the Tower of London, then it's fine. It's protected by
it's on
the Doctor Who lot.
Yeah, you have to speak to the Queen to get it live.
The unit.
Unit, thank each other.
No problem.
Let's shift onwards because we've still got 17 to round up. Whew. To some
Don't remind me of being towards the end of
to
the
some Denuvo news. Every time we've mentioned it, someone's cracked it. But this time,
success for
it's good news for
someone.
them. Assassin's Creed Origins hasn't been cracked yet.
Ooh.
A combination of Denuvo's anti-tamper technology and Ubisoft's own VM Protect. I think, yeah, their own VM Protect systems. And there's also rumour Denuvo are actually using a new version of their technology with Origins. Although, let me find it here. Watch Dogs 2, which was
27, isn't it?
Is it?
27 or 47 or something. It's a
It ends
7,
in a
isn't it?
7.
Yeah.
Watch Dogs 2 actually doesn't use Denuvo rather, and just uses VM Protect, and that still hasn't been cracked. Also, games also using the new version of Denuvo are Sonic Forces, Injustice 2, Football Manager 2018, Need for Speed Payback, and Battlefront 2, and all of them haven't been cracked yet. Good news for them, I suppose, but then there's still that question of the CPU draw that people were complaining about when it came to the DRM systems.
I think that only affects a select few games. I don't think every game has a problem.
This will probably be cracked.
Of course
but
it will.
for the time being, it's great PR for them to say, "Ha ha ha, we've done it," until it gets cracked again.
This article says that Watch Dogs 2 has a similar problem to the drawing too much CPU. Could it just be that the engine Ubisoft are using is a bit shit?
Yeah, it's usually the engine.
Or VM Protect.
Watch Dogs 2 doesn't have VM Protect.
Oh, sorry.
And Watch Dogs 2 uses a really custom engine. It's not like the one used in the new Assassin's Creed or Rainbow Six. Or even For Honor.
Hail
It's
corporate, well done, Denuvo. DRM.
Snowdrop. That's what it's called, Snowdrop.
But that's
Bloody pirates.
That's a nice thing, the whole Denuvo thing. Like, speaking from a business perspective, it's always interesting when I think it's good for both pirates and for companies because it keeps people on their toes.
Necessity is the mother of invention.
Yeah, no,
Yes,
really.
it does. Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it's just like if you have like before the Denuvo came along, people were like cracking a game before it even was released. So you just had the whole like culture, the like.
No, before we had demos. We had PC Gamer Mag that came with demos, or we had shareware and things like that.
Wow, I remember that.
But we still have piracy, of course.
Yeah, but like free games just became like a matter of fact in life. Like it was a little bit disgusting, really. Like people would just go like, "Oh, why would I pay for a game if I can just download it?"
I remember. I remember the days what we used to do when I was younger was because games you would buy buy on PC. It was literally you put the disc in, it installs the game for you. You use the key to install it, which is included in the booklet. Well, what you can do then is you install it, and if it was a single-player game, because we used to share games between us, we just install a single-player game, then download a no CD crack, which would replace the EXE. So you didn't, because a lot of these obviously load out, put that in, and it says, please insert the CD.
Yeah.
So,
I actually use no CD cracks to not waste my disc stuff.
I do, yeah. It was perfect too, but it was also handy so that I could lend a game to my friend, and he can play it, and he just uses an OCD.
Yeah.
We just sort of swap games.
And like I was looking at the, because when the whole Denuvo thing, I don't remember which game it was that like took a long time to crack, like I think last year or something, and I was seeing like the news about, oh, this game is taking like a couple of months to, and it took like 3 months. I don't remember which game it was. It was a very big AA game at the time. And I started looking into it, like the Reddit stuff that people have. And you had like people going like, oh, I can buy the game, but I don't want to. I prefer to, get it for free. But if it takes another week, I'm going to buy it and stuff. And you just look at it and you're like, come on, man, Like if you can buy for the go, I understand people pirating it that don't have money or, can't have the choice and all that. But if you got the money to buy stuff and you don't just because you'd rather have it free, that is kind of disgusting, especially if you like the industry. Yeah, exactly. It's a bit dickish. Like, if you like games, you really like games, and you have the money to buy it, and it's not gonna like lack food at the end of the month, you should buy it. You shouldn't just like pirate because might as well. That is a dickish move. So that's what I mean. It's a good thing that like the Nouveau is because the people who really can't buy the game don't have a choice. They're gonna have to wait like a month for the Nouveau to crack it. But the people who can buy a game will be forced to to buy it. Otherwise, you have a bunch of people who have money, who want to play the game, and who just download it for free because they can. Just taking advantage of the thing. It's kind of dickish.
And to be fair, at the moment, you can't really use not having full price of games as an excuse. Bearing in mind, I think Wolfenstein 2 was 50% off this week in a Steam
crazy.
sale. And there was another game, a AAA game that came out relatively recently that went down as much, I think, as well. I don't remember exactly, but I'm pretty sure Wolfenstein was 50% off somewhere.
Yeah, I saw that as well. That we're going to have to shift on to 2017. We were going to talk about the fact that a new Shin Megami Tensei title's coming to the Switch, and also that Cyberpunk 2077, the engine has been built, but the CD Projekt Red aren't confirming a release date yet. Might be 2019, but we'll skim over that stuff. Who cares about CD Projekt Red? Not Reddit, that's for sure. So 2017 is almost up, or rather, we've got another month of it, but we won't be able to talk about it properly. What a year! Yeah, what a year! I've asked everyone to do something from 2017 that caught their eye. I mean, if we can think back all the way to January, I think I'm going to kick things off by starting off politically. Who would have thought that a game about killing Nazis would have been controversial?
Oh my god. Very true.
Who? Yeah, I mean, basically all I need to do is just say that sentence.
I just love the fact that Bethesda didn't like apologise back away from that. They just went full front and said, like, if you support a Nazi, what the fuck is wrong with you? You know, make killing They had like make killing Nazis great again. They were just like, why should we have sympathy for Nazis? They're fucking Nazis. That's what essentially their response was.
To take that and take it to something a little bit more recently, this past week we have had the CW Arrowverse major crossover event, which basically involved another universe that was run by Nazis coming invading our one. And there was an honest to God 30 second to a minute long scene of everyone just agreeing how good it was to punch Nazis.
Well done.
You know, two people that at one point said seriously, I hate Nazis. Because you would. Because they're Nazis.
I'll to stop us from latching onto the topic of Nazis for 10 minutes, I'll check out another one as well. A game that we have mentioned in nearly every bloody podcast this year, PlayerUnknown's.
Yeah.
What a phenomenon that's been.
Dominated the market. It's like...
Damn it, Alex, we almost made it a week.
It's very difficult. You have to mention it, and it's like even now, like it's been announced it's coming to mobile for the Chinese market. The Xbox One version cut as well, and everyone is kind of decisive and a bit bitchy for the fact that people are saying it should be on a Game of the Year list, and then people are saying, well, it shouldn't because it's an early access game, and all that, and it's just like it shouldn't be because it isn't technically released yet.
And it is a crappy game. Come on, like no, I know this is a very
it's
a very like
winner chicken.
Yeah, but I mean it's a crappy game in terms like you can't really compare that with I don't know like Witcher 3. It's a game under development, it's a multiplayer thing, and whatever it does that very well. But there is 1,000 other little variables that we consider for a game of the year that it just doesn't have.
You say about Game of the Year, but my comparison, looking at The Witcher and PlayerUnknown's background, they're on like sort of entirely different scales to me. Yeah. They're way far from each other. You know, one of them is a jump in matchmaking, kill someone, survive, get out of there, have fun. Oh well.
When I think about game of
The other one is PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds.
And the other one is yes.
When I think about like game of the year, I usually try to think of like something that embodies the pinnacle of game development, and that includes like everything, like voice acting and music and graphics and gameplay and design and so everything. Like sometimes you look at it and you go, "This is the best goddamn thing that came out of that year." And even though like PlayerUnknown's can be the most popular game we had this year and it's the best multiplayer game or whatever, I don't think it classifies as that.
Yeah. It's your opinion. That's
yeah,
like
exactly.
your
It's my
opinion.
I preface it with that, and I kind of find it weird because I actually played the beta. I actually previewed it for GameGrin, and I really didn't like the game.
You played a really early bit. I mean, the game. I like the game, but it's still an unoptimized piece of shit. It's still
Looks like ass.
It still looks a bit shitty in some places, like a lot of Vaseline filtering to make it look a bit fancy, but it's still. It's not a great game, a great looking game, but it's an enjoyable, playable game when the servers work.
I just love that all of the people who are championing it to be included in the Game of the Year discussions are also the same people who complain at reviewers when they review an early access game because it's not ready yet.
It's
if it's
interesting
ready enough to be Game of the Year, it's ready enough to be.
I mean, I like I prefer the style of like what I watched in a couple of YouTube series, and what they do, they just do video overviews of like the updates. You say this latest update does this, and sort of does his own little feedback to it. But I wouldn't expect people with any early access game. I wouldn't expect if you preview it once in its current state, that is it for that state. Then you could have the choice or option to preview it at a later date. But I wouldn't expect someone to go, patch, here's a new preview. Oh, another version is coming here, all the way up to its official release to give you a review. It would be so pointless.
What? A quick question: how is it coming to Xbox? It isn't finished yet as well.
Xbox has got its own early access plan, I think.
Has it?
Yep.
Oh wow.
They also had Ark Survival.
Oh, that was right. Oh, it's Star Citizen as well.
Wasn't it supposed to be finished by now?
Ah!
No, but like, seriously, was it supposed to be finished at the start of December?
Yeah,
I swear that
they said it's supposed to be this
Then they
year.
got all the money.
And then they delayed their. Then they decided.
First you get the money, then you get the Chinese,
So yeah,
then
it's
you
just
fix yourself.
a quick throwback to probably July when I said on this very podcast that game ain't coming out this year.
I don't think it will.
Well, they haven't got much time.
I've got a month left. The last I heard, they're just tinkering around with a new map.
Yeah, exactly. I've read that as well, and because of that, they've added all these additional animations. So you've got the climbing and the contextual leaping over shit. You know.
Well, West Online's supposed to be coming out this year, and Puce, who's obviously not in this podcast,
It's not.
sent me a message yesterday saying that he'd logged in to see what this patch does, but because of where he'd left his character, it was now out of bounds, so his character was locked out of the map, just running around the outside of it.
Because I know the history of the developer doesn't surprise me. Fucking, it's totally the guys who made that War Z game. So it is.
But moving away from multiplayer games and back to 2017, something bad got turned into something good. Square Enix got rid of IO Interactive, which was bad, who went out on their own and managed to keep their Hitman property.
Yes, that's good.
Which is good.
Hmm.
I've also I know I mentioned it in a podcast either last week or week before that Hitman now says it's the latest one now says that it's published by IO Interactive as well as developed. Just had a quick look, and all of the Hitman games on Steam say that they're published by IO Interactive.
Oh, good for them. That's good.
So
Could get a remake.
If you've ever wanted to buy the Hitman games but not wanted to support Square, get them now.
That's true.
I hope IO stick around and do what Ninja Theory are doing at the moment, where they're sort of just filling the slot of these sort of mid-tier games that are not quite the big, huge games we expect from the massive developers, but they're more substantial than what we expect from smaller teams.
Yeah, do this.
I think it's a pretty empty market at the moment, as in Ninja Theory are basically the only people who are existing in it right now.
And they proved that they've made profit as well.
Indeed.
With 2017, I would say though, this is basically like the 8.5 generation of consoles, because we've got obviously the PS4 and X1 were out. Now we've got officially the PlayStation 4 Pro and the Xbox One X showing off all of its 4K, boarded, upscaled imaging, not true 4K, depending on the game, and yeah, the realm of 4K game now. Something that PC gamers have had for quite some time, but welcome to the club console.
What was the time difference between PS3 and PS4? Was it about 6 years? 6, 7 years?
8.
I thought it was 7.
7, 8 years.
So we're roughly, technically,
well, they came out in 2013.
The PS4 did, yeah.
PS3 was November 2006.
So 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. So we're what, 2/3 of the way through the cycle, heading towards the first leaks, first mentions, unless the Pro and the X have extended cycle by a few years.
No. This is the way of progress. This is the why we get smartphones every year with slightly faster performance and the same design. They're going to do the same thing with the consoles. Like, Xbox has stepped it up now. They've stuck in the most powerful gaming card you can get in a console. Sony's going, okay, we can work with this. So what we'll do is we'll make our PS4 the Xbox S, essentially, and then we'll make the PS4 Pro they'll make the PS4 Pro the standard, and then they're going to knock out an even more powerful one, the Pro X, or the PS4 or the PS5. There you go, PS5. That'll be easier. By 2020.
The press are already coming out with the first rumours for the PS5.
Oh, they do that with smartphones as well. It annoys me. I keep saying that in the news. It's like Samsung might be gearing up for the Galaxy S9 in chain. Like, we've got the rumours. Fuck you.
Essentially, they're just trying to win the SEO war. So that people search PS5 on Google, they're the first thing to come up.
Oh yeah, a lot of the stuff is sparked by employees. They literally do it. Yeah, because then because we live in that age where anything could be believable on the social media. Then people start typing in PlayStation 5, and they say, "Oh, guess what? The rumours that it's going to have a 4K Blu-ray player on it, which the PS4 Pro should have had in the first place," and all that bollocks.
Well, my rumour article says it's going to have an 8K Blu-ray player.
See,
there's a hilarious.
There are 16 teraflops.
There's a hilarious concept out there that has a holographic image projector in the middle of the controller. Like, who would want that? Why would you want something like that?
That would make the perfect Star Wars game. Just as you have it, and then suddenly Princess Leia's coming out of your controller. Obi-Wan, I need you.
Wait, it does have a built-in speaker, though, the controller. It does talk to you sometimes.
I only have one game that utilizes the built-in speaker on my PlayStation 4 controller.
Yeah.
And it's Dynasty Warriors.
Oh, yeah, it's the noise when your Mushu's ready. Yeah.
And also Officer lines come out of it.
I wanted to call it
Persona 5 use it.
Not for my controller. Never turned up on mine.
Oh.
Maybe I turned them off by mistake or something.
Maybe. I had it really annoying because, like, I was playing one of the Call of Duties, and it's like I had to turn the TV down because obviously the fucking guns blazing everywhere. But the controller speaker also makes gun noises, or when you're starting a multiplayer game like when it does the countdown, like 5, 4, 3, and all that, the controller has the music, like the when it starts the game, and it's playing from the controller. I'm going, what the fuck? Yeah. It scared me. It was the middle of the night, and I did not expect it. Okay.
Yeah, when I first heard, I had to completely pass my mind that they had speakers in the controllers, and when I was first playing, because Dynasty Warriors was one of the first games I got on the PS4. So when I
GTA
was,
5, it rings
I was
as well.
playing it in my living room, and I was hearing these voices, and I was like, "Where are these people? Who are these Japanese people wandering around outside of my flat? I can hear them, but I can't see them." But yeah. Blimey, we've run over the hour.
Can I do my news story very quickly? Because
Yeah.
mine's not one, it's several, and it's sort of those that we lost this year so far. So I think it's important to remember. I'm sorry, not a bit of a bum note, but there's been a few losses, both studio and people. Gorilla Cambridge was shut down early this year. They made rigs and a lot of ports to Sony consoles, mostly to the Vita.
One of the best Killzone games in recent years.
There we go. The Namco founder, Masaya Nakamura, died on the 22nd of January. Alan Stone, co-founder of Nintendo of America, died in mid-February. Daniel Licht, the composer behind Dishonored and Silent Hill, died in August. And of course, we lost Visceral Games in October. Put on my note here that I had this, hopefully the microtransaction loot box, but I think that might be wishful thinking.
Yeah,
Microtransactions, loot boxes, question mark?
Yeah, so
they will miss.
They will be press F to pay respects. But don't actually, just actually think, don't press F to pay respects.
Press F to pay respects.
Wow. How about the end of regular podcasting for 2017? The next time you hear us, we'll be starting off the game of the year. We've expanded it hugely now. It's in 3 parts with about 14 different categories. An absolute shed full of games to discuss. Will be coming out on the Thursday in December. On the regular, the 3rd episode which will be coming out on the 21st of December. That will be the final game of the year one, so if you want to set that down in your diary, please do. But remember, the prior 2 will be just as interesting with a load of different categories like Best Indie, Best Multiplayer, Biggest Disappointment, Best Studio, Best Character, and things like that. Please make sure you come back then and check it out. Time for my usual outro. Listener for sticking with us for that hour, and thanks to Ace, Cal, Cello, and Catty for joining me this evening. I'm the host, Hamiltonius. And Cello, that was breaking up my flow just as I start the ending. If you want to leave a comment or get in touch with us, you can find us on the GameGrin website. That's www.gamegrin.com. And just look for the GrinCast. You can also get in touch with us on Twitter at GrinCast. And remember, you can find the podcast hosted on both on iTunes, Stitcher, and on the GameGrin website, as previously mentioned. In touch with GameGrin itself, I've already mentioned the website, but it's on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Just search GameGrin and look for the lovely smiling face. Go to check out Game On, the company that does magazines about specific games in the industry and the gaming industry in general. And remember to check out Moving Pictures, our another sister company that does videos and interesting insights into the film and TV industry. That's it this week. We'll be back in December with Game of the Year. I hope you have if you're American, I hope you had a nice Thanksgiving. If you're British, I hope you're looking forward to Christmas. Again, if you're American, your happy holidays. See you next week. But until then, game on. I did think I wasn't going to go through every religion and country. I was like, oh, shit, maybe I should.
Like, do it
if you're
Indian,
language. If you're Kwanzan, if you're
from the Sun cult of New Zealand.
Yeah.
Can't forget the Jedi.
In post, yeah?
Yeah, I'll put that in.
So how will
there was something I wanted to ask. I can't remember what it was.
Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Go on.
There was something I was meant to tell you guys. I forgot what it was. Carry on.
Must not be important then.
No, I was just gonna ask how would December actually work. So we're not gonna have any podcasts being published until the end of the year. or are we
That
actually
was it.
like
No.
the whole?
Okay, I remember. We're basically the first 3 Thursdays of December are going to be part 1, part 2, and part 3 of the Game Grin Game of the Year. No matter what day we record on, it'll be going out on Thursday, and then the last Thursday of December we'll have a day essentially, and then we'll see what happens on the first week of January, who's here and who's not, and we'll go from there essentially.
Okay.
We might have a few new formats to with as well, and we'll be putting out a call for new members as well in January, so we might have some new faces or new icons anyway. Yeah, so that's about it. Yeah,
Happy days.
hopefully we can get the dates sorted so Dom Lloyd and Peace can join Anne Emsey as well, who I'm trying to track down what days she's free. Everyone, I'm trying not to just bring it in people who haven't been on the pod in a while, so it'll be just the core group. Yeah, that's about it. I'm going to go and if you know, I'm on Discord about the game of the year or whatever and stuff and things.
What if I want to send nudes?
The usual place.
Okay.
Alright, see you guys.
Bye.
See ya.
No, right?
I'm going to make a move again as well, guys. Have a good evening.
You too. Bye.
Bye.